What is up, you beautiful liberty lovers? We are not at our scheduled time. This is kind of an impromptu video, but I think it's really important. This is going to be a kickoff to something completely new, and it is something that I've been thinking a ton about recently, obviously, with tons of people getting purged off of social media and all that shit that went down. It's a lot of people are talking about this in general. Before we get rolling, like, comment, subscribe, share. All right. Make sure to hit the notification bell. And you're going to want to, because this, like I said, is the kickoff of something I'm going to be doing over, I don't know, maybe the full, length of 2021, maybe even indefinitely. This idea of decentralizing is, I think it's the answer, right? It is paramount. And what's interesting is agorists have been talking about this for a while, right? I don't necessarily align with everything that agorists say, but it's actually been something that I think it's now a viable solution, because every other conventional communication platform and means for us to connect is now subject to tyranny. I mean, that's basically what it is. And so that is something that is really driving me in the direction of moving to a decentralized, a truly decentralized blockchain-based platform to communicate on. I will continue to communicate on these conventional channels as long as they will have me, which I don't know if I'm successful, might not be that long. But I will continue to be on these channels so that I can basically bring my journey to you. And if you want to follow me on that journey and decentralize, I think that would be probably a step in the direction of getting this country and maybe even the world on a path to more liberty and freedom. The more that we can cut out basically oppressive, tyrannical oversight and meddling in our daily lives and our communications and our commerce and everything else that goes with it, the better off we're going to be. And from recent events, it doesn't look like our elected politicians are going to do it for us. So that's really what's driving this. I want to introduce you to Hive. Hive is something that a lot of people, especially if you're not really kind of like up with blockchain and you haven't really learned very much about it in the recent past, it can be kind of daunting and scary and really weird, because it's different. You've been pre-programmed, or not pre-programmed, but you've been programmed into using conventional communication channels like Twitter, like Facebook, like Google. This works a little bit differently. So there's a learning curve. So as I go through the process of signing up for Hive, setting up my accounts, and kind of getting going with it, I'm going to catalog it and give you a layman's 101 way to do it step by step and get onto the platform. All right. And so I want you to be able to, take those steps with me and have also a reference to refer back to. You can even go to YouTube and look at tons of other videos that have already been put out because there's a ton of people on Hive already, believe it or not. A lot of people would lead you to think that, Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and whatnot are where it's at. Like, if you're not there, you're basically not talking at anyone. But that's not true. There are ecosystems that are now growing. One of the questions that a lot of people have been asking themselves when they want to, get away from the conventional behemoths in the social media and the digital space is like, well, why not go to Parler? Why not go to MeWe? Why not go to Gab or whatever? These problems are going to follow you there. Like, you're going to get an echo chamber, one, especially if you're, one of these, if you're a conservative who's like, look, I want to follow the rest of the conservatives because screw these liberals that censored us or whatever. I mean, you're going to end up talking with a bunch of people exactly like you. The nice thing about blockchain is you can be completely anonymous if you want. Okay, they don't share your data and do not make money off your data. And actually, as a contributor or as a content creator, if you are one of those people, you get to make money off of your content directly. There's very little, like, there is no real centralized intermediary. Okay, the platform is the platform. If you use some of these apps, there might be a little bit of a vig or a fee to use them, but they're not making billions and you're making like 1%. right? Like, so if anyone followed what happened with YouTube, all the big creators, like a couple of years ago, actually a couple of times now, they've just had the rug pulled out from under them. You know, they were making hundreds of thousands, then it got cut, and then they got back up to making hundreds of thousands, then it got cut, right? So this is a way of getting away from that, all right? But again, it's going to be different, and the reason why I'm not going to Parler, the reason why I'm not going to those other platforms is because I think they are going to fall victim to the same thing that you're seeing on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. I think they're going to fall victim to the same thing that you're going to it's going to follow you to Parler. It's going to follow you to MeWe. They will find a way to suppress your voice if they are threatened by it, okay? And by they, I mean basically anyone who is a tyrannical ruler right now in government, all right? And part of the state. So that being said, we need a new direction. And just kind of replacing one for the other it's not a fix, it's a band-aid, right? Like for me, going to Parler is a band-aid, it's not a fix. So I'm going to be porting a lot of my stuff over onto Hive and getting active on Hive. And again, I will continue to post on these conventional platforms because I want to educate you. And if you want to make the leap with me, come along with me. All right. So a little bit of a background on Hive, or let me just give you a very basic premise of what blockchain is. Blockchain is essentially a bunch of computers that essentially create data blocks. Okay. And those data blocks are validated, and they're validated different ways. So validating is just saying, like, the data blocks, a bunch of computers look at it. In a traditional like Bitcoin sense, it's like mining computers. Some of these other decentralized networks work a little bit differently, but it's these blocks of data. You can think of it as snapshots of all of the transactional data and all of the information within like a 10-minute time frame. Okay, they take a snapshot, and then they take a snapshot, and they take a snapshot. And when they take a snapshot, all of the computers, or most of them, have to agree that the data in that block is legit, like it's not bullshit. Okay, so they look at the block, they legitimize it, and they say, okay, that block's good, we're on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. And it creates a chain, right? Chain of blocks, blockchain. So Bitcoin is based off of a blockchain. Like Bitcoin is not the blockchain. Bitcoin is a currency, or depending on who you would talk to, a speculative commodity or whatever that is essentially built off of the top of a blockchain. There are a number of blockchains that are out there, right? So Bitcoin's on one. I forget what that is, like the blockchain that's underneath it. I forget if it was called like Karma or something like that. But there's the Ethereum blockchain, which is big, all right, which will continue to kind of grow and things like that. And certain apps are going live on the Ethereum blockchain. And then Hive is a blockchain that was essentially what's called a hard fork, okay, from, it used to be called Steem, all right, Steem. And what happened was, I guess there was a fallout between the people that developed and were operating Steem. And what is now Steem, it is, I would say, arguably not truly decentralized, okay? Hive wanted to retain that truly decentralized nature to the blockchain, and so they made a hard fork from Steem. So a lot of folks that were on Steem had a choice, and they were able to convert their Steem crypto that was used on the Steem blockchain over to Hive. And many people did make the jump. Some people didn't. It is what it is, right? But so Hive is essentially a blockchain. Built on top of the blockchain is an ecosystem of apps. You can think of it almost like, like Windows, right, is the operating system, and then you could build apps for Windows. It's analogous. It's not a perfect analogy, but it's analogous, okay? So you have within the ecosystem built on the Hive blockchain all of these different apps, right? So, Splinterlands is a game. You have Peaked, which I believe is somewhat of a social media platform. Hive Blog, which is essentially a pure blogging, posting kind of platform. 3Speak, which is analogous to YouTube. Dbuzz, which is like what's called like a micro blogging site. So instead of long form blogs, it's maybe a little bit more analogous to Twitter. Okay. And then you have a bunch of others. You have some fitness ones. You have a couple of games. There's actually already this one, Leo Finance, is actually really cool. If you go to leofinance.io, first of all, if you want to learn about Hive, it's hive.io. And then if you want to go to Leo Finance, it's leofinance.io. And they post a lot about crypto, about Hive, about blockchain technology, and things like that. And so, really good resource, leofinance.io. Again, these are apps that are built off of the Hive blockchain. So I will be cataloging my progression as I begin to pick up, essentially access to each one of these apps, and then kind of work through posting to them, what that mechanic looks like. One thing to understand is if you look at the top of the website for Hive, it does say wallet. You will need a specific wallet to get on here. So those of you who are familiar with Coinbase or any one of the other, exchanges or wallets that you can use to purchase crypto, Hive has a select few wallets that you can use to buy the crypto that works with this platform. All right. And you will have to buy crypto. The good news is it's fairly cheap right now. So if Hive takes off and you're here and you get involved in the ecosystem, it actually could also work out end up being like an investment for you. Okay. But there's no guarantee it's going to take off and go like wildfire. So you can't guarantee that, the price of Hive is going to rise over a long period of time. But that's just a long way of saying, all right, you'll have to, if you already have a Coinbase account or some other account that you use, like a Robinhood account or whatever, to buy crypto, you will have to start a new wallet account in addition to your user account on Hive and on this ecosystem, right? But again, I will go step by step and I will work through each one of these things in order to get you onto this system if you want to take this journey with me. I'm super excited. Like, this is something that I've really been uneasy about, different providers that just control their access to the point where, they offer it for free, okay? But that access is not free, right? They're making money off of you, and they also kind of control you, right? They control what you can say, how you can say it, when you can say it, and they control. If you look at the terms and service agreement, there's going to be tons of stuff in there that you're going to put online that now they're like, okay, well, that's mine, right? Like you post pictures and stuff like that of your family, and they're like, well, technically that's mine. You put it on my server. So that really worries me, and I'm excited because this has been the kick in the rear end for me to finally take this leap, and in taking this leap, I would like others to take the leap with me. I'm going to make it my personal goal over as long as I'm on this platform and I'm going through this journey to try and at least evangelize these decentralized solutions. And it won't stop just here. Like, as more apps get built out, I will bring you those apps if they have some usefulness in terms of everyday life and whatnot. And as other decentralized solutions come on board, something that's a big gripe about crypto and stuff like that is, like, there's not necessarily like an Amazon for like people that want to deal with crypto. It's one of the things that's holding back crypto from being a true currency alternative is just the ecosystem of businesses and things like that that accept crypto and that you can get everyday goods and stuff like that. It's just not built out, but it's coming, right? And that wave is here. And within the last couple of weeks, I think you've seen a bunch of gasoline get thrown on the fire of this thing, this blockchain technology and decentralized technology that was just kind of smoldering. It is going to become a large scale fire. This thing it's gonna go, right? There is enough impetus now where it's like, well, why are we even on these other platforms? And the only answer for people is because there's a bunch of people already here. That's the only reason why you stay on the platform, right? Well, people will begin to migrate to these other platforms, and I want to help facilitate that for you if you want to do that with your life and decentralize and get away from other folks that basically control how you interact with your friends and connections and the communities that you have online. And hopefully I can help facilitate, build some communities, or transplant or rebuild some communities online where we can continue these conversations without fear of censorship and without fear of being blocked out from information that people should know, right? And just because it's a dissenting voice does not mean it's bad information, right? Like, even if you don't agree with it, it's covered under 1A. And I want to go to a place that better embodies and appreciates that. So, with that, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you. Anyone who is on here live, thank you for checking in. If you watch the recorded version of it on YouTube, I will be building a playlist specifically for decentralizing, right? There will be specifically a decentralized, I'll probably call it something like Decentralized for Liberty or something like that. But there will be a decentralization playlist on YouTube that you can check in with. So just a quick reminder, again, like, comment, subscribe, okay, and get the notification. So hit the notification bell on YouTube. And like I said, I am looking forward to bringing you all on this journey with me, and I appreciate every single one of you. And hopefully, we can find a new home that actually appreciates free speech and kind of gets us away from authoritarian rulers that would limit everything that we try to do on a day-to-day basis, and we should be able to do because we are free people. Thank you, everyone. Have a good afternoon. I'll talk at you later.